Greetings all. Well, my gray furry buddy Gracie got me up at the usual 5:13 this morning, so I had plenty of time to sit around and drink coffee. And, well, still in a state of a hangover or withdrawal from national news. I said, well, this morning, Sunday, we're only watching local stations. Well, turns out even in Waikiki, somebody robbed a bank strong arm with a gun and a note. It's everywhere. Can't get away from it. But being Sunday, they ordinarily will cover local restaurants and local eateries, sometimes even, food trucks and stuff like that. It's peaceful. Gets my appetite going sometimes in the morning for cooking breakfast. Well, sure enough, they bring in a group who has an eatery there on Oahu, and I'm looking at it and I go, holy smoke, they got all this different food on display that they do. It's all brown food. I mean, okay, there's white rice, usually. And some brown food is a little yellowish brown, and some brown food is a little reddish or orangish brown, but it's brown. Basically it was fried stuff, this and that. And whereas a lot of it, looked pretty edible, I realized I was looking at a display of brown food is what the restaurant produces. Well, later on, the same station, a commercial comes up for Noodle House on Oahu, and they have a great big steam table thing where you can come on in and, get a quart of this and a pint of that to go. I'm looking at the camera sweeping down the table of stuff. It's all brown food. Yeah, seriously, it was all brown food. Again, a little yellowish brown, orangey brown, reddish brown, all brown food. A lot of that has to do with the fact that it's been fried, a lot of it. But so, going, wow. Yeah, later on, Ellen gets up early, and I'm still cooking breakfast, and it was multicolored, by the way. And I mentioned to her, that I was having a brown food epiphany. Well, she's familiar with me in the brown food thing, right? Yeah, she's heard it for years. It really started when I believe the pair of us were eating at a Asian-style buffet in Fremont, California. Which no longer exists, but it was, in my opinion, of an Asian buffet, probably one of the best I've ever eaten in. Yes, and because of this, pretty reasonable lunch price too. I ate in the place frequently, and it was around the corner from my house, and so on. The food was good, and a lot of variety. Anyway. Well, in a buffet, I get people flowing back and forth around the tables and up and down the aisles carrying their plates of food. And, of course, you get in line and you be standing in front of and behind some other person, taking your stuff. And so, I'm not a real nosy person, but it doesn't take much to kind of glance at the next guy's plate as you're going around and have a look at what's this guy put on his plate, or what's that person carrying as they go down the aisle, All you got to do is sort of look up, from your chow mein for a moment and go, oh. Well, what I realized, that was where it first dawned on me. Some people are brown food people. Yeah, this is especially common with children. Yeah, you'll find children that, the only things they'll have on the plate will be like chicken nuggets, egg rolls. If they offer French fries, there'll be French fries, but nothing green, nothing with much pigmentation. And it's also carries through with adults. You'll see adults that will come around a buffet table with only, fried rice, chicken, whatever, and some fried dish, and really hardly anything that represents vegetation or represents color other than brown. So as I was mentioning this to Ellen, we're on another local station. I had changed stations to see if there was, another perspective. Well, they had another restaurant here, and as we look up, they're showing off all their foods, and guess what? Uh-oh. It's all brown food. Yeah, which is common around here. We love our, fried fish, chicken katsu, Kahlua pork ain't green, I'll tell you that, And, of course, rice is ubiquitous with everything, and very seldom do people order the brown rice option. And it's very common that it's either that's all you get is the white rice, or people would prefer the white rice. I have friends who come over and are kind of, about brown rice if I serve it. This really has come to mind because I have always personally been the kind of person who enjoyed a lot of different vegetables, and a lot of different colors in foods, and a lot of variety in foods. Now, until I got to this whole idea of trying to feed microbiome and realizing I need these polyphenols and all this definite plant material, I'm trying to make some sort of a science out of it. My body tended to go in that direction, but I think the understanding behind what I was doing was mostly feeding just my body. I understood, the vitamin contents in foods. I understood what has complete amino acid chains and what does not. I understood how to complete amino acid chains to make perfect proteins, and what's a carbohydrate, blah, 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 and so on. Yeah, I have a pretty good idea about all that, which is very much directly towards feeding the human physiology. My body burns, a lot of different things. Yeah, it'll burn a lot of things, but it won't necessarily come away from them without paying a price. Yeah, there's the problem. And I think my previous thoughts on diet were towards this sort of microbiome thing, but it wasn't based on the understanding that this is necessary, that I have to feed the things that live in me, and this is what they eat. I mean, I could eat brown food, right? My microbiome in general does not. Yeah, it likes highly colored foods with strong polyphenol contents that stimulate them. Things like black raspberries, blueberries, red cabbage, red onions, turmeric, things in that order that generally are very stimulating. Pecans, yeah, nuts in general, but pecans particularly, and so on. And the idea of eating, say, up to about 30 plants a week, different plants every week, in the diet, and that doesn't mean you're becoming a vegetarian or a vegan. You don't have to, it's preferable if you're going to eat red meat that it be grass-fed, so it's not loaded with antibiotics and weird chemicals and things, but luckily for us here, most of all our hamburgers we get that are at least locally sourced are grass-fed. Here in Hawaii, that's what we have. So then when I see brown food, which I've noticed for decades, all right, I've noticed the brown food thing, but when I see it now, it takes on a little bit of a different light, because I realize that people who do brown food diets probably are highly destructive to the organisms that live inside them. That will generally feed things that are not desirable in your system. I don't know if it will kill off things that are desirable, but it's not the sort of diet that will induce really, really healthy microbiome. And boy, oh boy, is a brown food diet common. Hang loose, everybody. Aloha.